Hi, Isabel. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our coffee chats with Marta and Isabel.
Yes, we welcome you again, and we are actually quite excited because today we decided to really, really seriously talk about conflict, but in a good way, because conflict is always a space where you can learn about yourself, about what's going on inside you. And me and Isabel, we've been just before coming on online, we've been talking about conflict and how conflict can stop us from not doing what we want to do, even the conflict, especially what we have with ourselves, which is super, super important, even more important than conflict with others. What do you think, Isabel? Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's this thing when your body says conflict, danger, I want to run away, I don't want to talk. And usually this is what we experience because we have this fear, no, of
Yeah.
saying what we think, of saying the truth, or we treat it like a threat. And it's
Yeah.
not like that. I mean, if we start seeing conflict from a different perspective or from a different definition, we can get a lot of juice from conflict, and we can learn a lot from conflict.
Yeah, and I will say one thing about me that previously, when conflicts came up in me, like let's say with my partner, I used to really seriously just like I'm not going to talk to him. He's just blah, 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 and blah 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 blah, just close or actually attacking him in everything what I could only think was in the past. Like, oh, I didn't like the trousers he wore when we went out or something. And I will be on and on and on him. Yeah. Instead of really truly looking at myself. So what was for you? How you react or how
Yeah,
you used to react?
Yeah, my case, I think I polarize. I have both sides. No, I have the conflict when I become, like invisible, or I'm really fearful of speaking my truth, and then I go quiet, and that really is burning inside. Whatever I want to say, or whatever I want to express myself, no. And then the other way that I deal with, I used to deal, not anymore, although sometimes, is like I just react. I don't even think, I just react, and then I realize straight away that, oh my God, I shouldn't have said this, or maybe I should have said it in a different way. But it's because this thing of if I go quiet, then I keep building up all that energy, and then I burst this like a bomb, no? Or the
Yeah.
other one is when I just do it immediately. So in both cases, I get like all that frustration out without thinking. But one, the timings are totally different. Once I go quiet for a really long time, and the other one is immediately. So both of them definitely wrong, totally
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, Isabel, there is something that I want to definitely tell you and everyone else because you said something. You said, like, oh, I speak my truth.
Oh.
My question for all of us is actually how you can distinguish what is the truth if you are in the conflict.
For me, I mean, my case now, how we do it is you stop and you think.
Exactly. So that's what I wanted to show all of us. Yeah, because Isabel, you know that anyway, that when we are getting inside the conflict, we don't really know what is the conflict because conflict always comes with something that we don't agree with ourselves. We don't like it. It's 100% nothing to do with the person that we have a conflict with. So when you said like, oh, I want to say the truth. When you are during the conflict, you never say the truth,
That's
because
totally,
the
I
truth.
totally agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Exactly. So what we can say with our own experience to our girls, ladies, I don't know, whoever watching us, say how we can distinguish the conflict, or how we can minimize the conflict and start really speaking the truth.
Well, I think it's pretty clear, like you definitely you stop and see, you ask yourself, where am I coming from? Why this is hurting? Why I have this crazy reaction? Because sometimes they're these crazy reactions out of nothing. Out why I am going through this. So it's having these introspections and asking yourself, where is this coming from? What is the trigger, right? What is the trigger that is provoking all these feelings and sensations, and it's like a bomb inside of me? But that's the barometer, no? That's when you have to realize something is going on and something that is not right at all.
Yeah. So what would you say that that is something that you we all of us have to kind of take, I don't know, I don't want to say that, but it's almost like take one deep breath and see where I'm coming from, what is going on, what I'm angry at. I'm angry at really the my partner, or someone who didn't call, or someone who promised you something, or what trigger I have inside myself.
Yeah, usually it's your own trigger. Is basically, I think the conflict usually or never has to do with the other person, that you think this person is making this or this person has said this. No, 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 it's the other way around. Is the why, as I was saying before, why this is provoking this
Yeah.
a feeling or this reaction, why I feel all these things in my body. And that is when you need to start asking what's going on. What is it?
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
this invisible thing inside me
Yeah.
that
Yeah, exactly.
is provoking this, as I said, this
Actions or anger or
this
whatsoever.
action, anger, or whatever. I mean, sometimes you really want to, and you want to convince yourself that you are right, no, because the other person did this to me. But I mean, no,
Yeah.
when you see it and you observe conflict from a different perspective and with a totally different definition, that as
Yeah.
we say here, conflict is the best tool for self-awareness.
Yeah.
And
And
that,
I actually, yeah, and I want to actually say something about that. When we growing as a kids, yeah, whatever is happening around us, we are, our brain is like a sponge. We are taking everything in, and that create our way how we see our life. Yeah. And then later on, because that was happened, that's everything what we have embodied in a way, like a kids, as a kid, is a picture that in later on in our life we how would I call it, we reliving that, that's the same scenario. So for example, I'm gonna ask you, for example, as well, like when I was a kid, my I was not being seen. Okay, I was not being seen. I was the first child. So after I was 8 or 9 months, or maybe more. No, sorry, I was over a year when my mom got pregnant with my brother. So I became completely invisible for my mom and my dad, because they already got excited. Oh, they're gonna have another baby. So I was just like, whatever. So for many, many, many years, until probably 5 years ago, when I understood, when I'm always getting angry, when I'm invisible, when people trying to ignore me, or when they not even trying, I think that they ignoring me, or they not respond to my messages, or they not allow me to speak. I'm getting I used to get furious. I used to be upset and all of that. Yeah. Now I know because I understood this is something that it's happened to me as a kid. So now I'm just looking at this. Okay, that comes from my belief not being visible. And that's it's okay. Now I don't have to get angry at everyone. I don't have to prove myself that I need to be visible or scream or get angry whatsoever. So only because I did the work to understand myself through the conflict, now I would say a much better person. So I would love to ask you, Isabel, really, what comes to you? What was obvious? How did you suffer in a way?
How did I suffer? I'll start with a confession, I'll say. This was all my life, but to be honest, I didn't even know that I was, but I used to, I had a really bad relationship with conflict always. So silence was my superpower.
Wow.
Saying a bit before, no? But as a kid, I was never allowed, let's say, to talk back or to share, or to share, even to share my anger. So as I was saying before, yeah, I kept building up, building up, building up. So I will keep quiet all the time, and I was terrified to say whatever I wanted, and that what I was doing. But that is, I was creating this distance, right? This distance with the person, because I will withdraw from the situations because I didn't know how to approach it. I didn't know what to do because there was something I wanted to say, but I was silenced for, I don't know, sometimes days, sometimes even with my ex-partners or with friends. I will go quiet, and I will give excuses as why I have disappeared. I'm busy, I'm doing this. But the truth is that, yeah, I was not allowed to say what I felt. That was my belief. I was not allowed to say what I wanted, because that will cause conflict and that will create a problem. And I remember once my son said, Mom, but you never say when you never say anything when you're angry, and so he doesn't know where he stands, no. And that for me was, I mean, still sometimes I do it. I mean, unconsciously, when I'm angry, I just keep quiet, and I think by doing it, I just create peace and nothing happens, and no one is gonna tell me off or something. But what I was really doing is basically creating distance from my son rather than creating connection and saying, well, I'm angry because of this. No,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
there's
amazing.
something there I want to say, but I don't feel the same, and so I go silence. And that's been my pattern literally all my life, and it's been pretty difficult when it comes to work and when I've been working, in office environments and all this stuff. So
So what would you say now? Do you, after the work have you done with yourself for a very, very long time, would you say that because you got to know yourself and your, I would say, the pattern from the past, it's helping you to be more true to yourself?
yeah, yeah, definitely. Now I just see conflict like a mirror, it shows me all these fears, my triggers, and it doesn't mean that doesn't happen nowadays. It still happens, but the way the relationship with it is totally different. I know I'm doing it, or I know I want to do it, or I catch myself, or so it's literally showing me, like stopping to react, and then, okay, I mean, I'm angry and I just want to go to silence straight away, but no, I want to say this, or it's okay if I say it, and it's okay if I'm angry as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's been the best tool, to be honest, the best tool for recognizing all these patterns that they've been there all my life, and I wasn't aware of them.
Yeah.
So,
So, um, like what I wanted to say is as well when you shared, when we recognize what have created us the way how we want and we don't like it, we can change it, not by forcing ourselves to
mm,
do so, only by understanding what
mm,
happened and where these patterns are coming from. That's why we as a coaches, we helping really truly people to recognize that patterns in themselves, because it's almost like the switch. You freeing yourself. It's still, as you said, work in progress, but you freeing yourself from being guilty of many other patterns. And I'm not sure if I remember all of them, but patterns and core beliefs that we always carry, because we cannot really change them. What we can do is actually recreate the power. So, not to give the power what's happened in the past, is to give the power to what I want to do in my life.
yeah, totally. No, like also, and by recognizing them, like we, that in our coaching methodology, we use like these core beliefs, but by not giving them the power and giving them light, right? Neutralizing them,
Yeah,
seeing them. I mean,
yeah,
it gets to a point like they're there, but they don't have that amount of power that they had in the past. You know that maybe you're gonna get triggered, or maybe you're gonna get this, but they don't direct your life like in the past, for example, and that's what we do with our clients. I mean, once you give all that space for these core beliefs, every person, we all have different ones, and some of them they're really rooted, but once you give them that space and you see what do you do with them, how you behave, what is how do you perform, with them, then I mean it starts there, they start being really light in a way. You start recognizing and having that awareness why you do things, and that's really powerful because you have choice.
yes, yes, exactly. And the choice is the beauty of it. So basically, maybe some of you are familiar of not or not. We have 9 core beliefs. There is a book called Enneagram, or I'm not sure exactly of what is the title, but you can obviously Google, you can make yourself a test and come up with it. But also, what I'm trying to say is like we are usually having 3, 4 main ones that always come up, and the rest we mixing it. So for example, mine was like invisible, so I was not really um I was just all my life fighting with it. And the other one, which I want to give example, actually I'm not good enough, seriously,
Mhm.
because I was the helper. I was always the number two. I was always giving, giving, giving. And subconsciously, I was waiting for people to give me back. But because I couldn't communicate that I want things back as well, I never received anything until I had really a big breakdown in probably age of 21, 22, when I had completely enough. So I started to be enough for myself. I didn't expect anything or anyone to give back to me, not because I was angry or something, just because I started to feel like I'm enough. So I stopped giving people things. I stopped working for people. I stopped not working in a sense that everyone was asking me all the time, "Can you help this? Can you help that?" And I was always there for everyone. But suddenly, and actually, not suddenly, but sadly, that is the word. When I was in deep shit, there was not many people who actually was wanted to help me, because they knew that, Marta, you always amazing, you have all it together. Bullshit. So everything really completely changed, and I'm very grateful that I realized that within myself. But Isabel, is there any other example you would you like to share? What else come up with for you?
Yeah, for me, I mean, one of my core beliefs was that I am powerless.
Okay.
And I always been, and I'm not good enough, quite strong as well, but I always been looking for validation,
Wow.
more things, more uh, degree titles, more, when it came to work, always climbing the wrong ladder, I would say, always getting more of everything because I felt like I was never. I never had that power to do things on my own, so I needed this validation from outside, so people could validate me because I got
Yeah.
another degree, or because I got this thing, or because I got another thing. And that is how basically I spend my life, getting more stuff. I mean, getting more resources always, and traveling more. Although I like traveling, which is absolutely fine, but that will give me validation. Even the simple thing like traveling 3 times a year to really exotic places that people all they will all give me and say, wow, look at, your life. But that was only validation. It's not, I'm not saying I wasn't doing it from pleasure or whatever, but that will give me that, that high. And that's how I spend my life. Getting this validation and these better CVs and more courses. For example, another thing that's been the training courses. I remember at work, whatever. I mean, any kind of thing, of course, training, whatever they remember they publish, I'll go. And a lot of times, what am I doing here? This doesn't serve me. I'm not enjoying this, but it was another course on my CV, and that looked really good, for others. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's been my life. Now, still catch myself doing it a lot of times, but of course not at the level I was doing it and doing and doing and doing. And so that's been my life. So I think it would
I
be good. Sorry, Marta, I was going to mention all the core beliefs because I think it's pretty useful to mention
yeah.
them because we know that because below or underneath, let's say that's the word I wanted to use, every reaction usually there is a core belief, that
True.
is in the background, and
Yeah.
the ones that we use is I'm not enough, I'm not loved, I am wrong, I am powerless, I'm alone, I'm not safe, I'm too much, and I don't belong. And these
Yeah.
are like invisible scripts that they are always running in the background, always.
Yeah.
So until you recognize them, it's like they direct our lives, as we say, is your unconscious is running the show.
Exactly. Yeah. There are a couple of more as well, like which I always, not always, but recently I realized that I'm not allowing myself to be capable, which is quite
Mm.
interesting. But I'm sure that we're gonna expand on that on the next video, because we're obviously running out of time. But before we're gonna finish, I would like to ask you, what is only one action you want us, every one of us who are watching, to take to stop doing that, or to expand or explore on the belief? So what would you say, how you started that story, that self-consciousness, awakening that into your life, that you are able to now know what's going on?
Yeah, yeah. Basically, as we mentioned before, is the pause, and grounding yourself and feeling what's going on. First of all, is what's going on? Why am I feeling this? Why is this reaction? Your child is definitely not feeling safe. But now that we are grown-up women, I mean, we can handle it. We can breathe and say we're okay. I mean, we can handle this. I think that's the first thing, just to stop. And then, yeah, seeing where are we coming from? What am I believing right now? What is it? And probably identify one of these core beliefs. I'm not being seen. I feel I cannot speak, my truth. No one is listening. No one cares. I don't matter. So once you name it, I mean, you start giving neutralizing it. It's coming of all that explosion that is going on in your body, and you can't even control yourself. Once you give it the name, and it starts becoming really small, and it melts down, and it keeps going away, fading away in a way.
Yeah, yeah, great. And also, what I wanted to add is just like, even sometimes, don't be ashamed, even if you was not able to stop when the conflict arise. Just when the what is it called, when everything died down a little bit, just have, we really inviting you to have self-reflection. Okay, what I was compensating, being angry at my partner or at my colleague at work, is all of it, is all really, like you said at the beginning, is the reflection, self-reflection, because everyone around us is reflecting on ourselves. And there is one more thing that, we would love to invite you to basically maybe look on Enneagram. There is Enneagram Institute. You can make the test or something. But also, if you really want to explore a bit more from intuitive perspective, just get in touch with us. We can set up a quick session, and really go deeper and tune in without too much dwelling what our intuition is telling us about what's going on with you. And there are really, really powerful sessions that you can join us and really explore. And it's going to be easier because it's something that we reflect on you. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to add that once, I mean, there is another step, let's say, that once we identify it, then we remember, we always say in these chats, in this coffee chat, that you have the power of choice. So you choose to stay in that boiling emotions or in that kind of reactions or whatever, or you choose, okay, recognize it, neutralize it, and you choose what you love. What is it? This is not about the other person, this is about me. You choose yourself, you choose yourself with compassion, and you choose your higher self, your genius, your energy. So definitely, that's just to wrap it up, because if we neutralize it, we want to go into our higher self and into our high vibration.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And yes, once more, it's time for us to wrap up this session. It's been great. There's been quite a lot of information. But yeah, thanks so much for choosing us and for choosing this time for yourself. We will be back again with another interesting subject. And see you soon. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Yeah. Thank you so much and see you next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.